I guess we're live now. Okay.
All right, so hey guys, my name's John Wilbers. Went to Afton High School. Pretty much always had like a knack for videos and cameras and directing and lighting. So I took all the film classes I could when I was in high school. A couple of, I guess, like film classes in middle school too. Just always had a passion for it. So a couple of friends and I, in like our freshman year in high school, started like a small TV a show on the internet that eventually got picked up by a local TV station, and we made skits like every Friday night. But then I got to take Mr. Walker's Lit Through Film class, Miss Malone's Cougar News, and that really got us more in front of the camera, and we learned deadlines, we learned theory, we learned watching old movies and relating them into new projects. So it was always really cool taking classes in school. I would say even better than my college experience, except for the college that I went to out here in California. But the college I went to in St. Louis Community College, I feel like Afton High School for sure had a better, more hands-on program than Merrimack. So I don't know, I learned a lot. Mr. Walker was awesome. He showed us a ton of movies, and I can't tell you how many times I've replicated things in my everyday jobs that I have. I learned a lot of theory from him, and you may think like a movie that you're watching now is old and boring, but if you want to go into this industry, it's kind of like essential that you know this stuff, because you'd be surprised how many movies that are coming out today just completely copy those movies. So it's kind of like a backbone structure he sets you up for.
All right. So I think your story is pretty interesting. Okay, so you took some classes at Afton, boring, whatever. So then what happened after you graduated? You got pushed out into the world, and what did you do?
Yeah, so I went to Merrimack Community College, did not finish it, should have. Decided I just got the bug. I was like, I need to move now. So I moved out to California. Since I didn't know anybody, I went to Los Angeles Film School. Took really cool cinematography classes there. Met a lot of really cool people that I still work with today that are doing gigantic things. I would say at least 5 or 6 of my classmates are responsible for probably half the stuff that you guys see on TV commercials or movies. And pretty much I moved out to California. I just answered a random Craigslist because I didn't know anybody. Ended up moving in with my friend Mike, who's a professional stuntman. And the first time I walk into my apartment in LA, and the entire Jackass crew is sitting on my couch. And so I immediately start filming with those guys, and just going on from there, meeting all kinds of different celebrities and different artists, different bands, and filming with them. And eventually, after I graduate college, I've been freelance for, I guess, 4 years now, 100%. So I don't have a boss. I don't have anything. I can travel whenever I want. I get to travel all the time for work. It's great. It was a lot of hard work, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but it's been a really cool journey so far. So pretty much what I do is I'm a director of photography. So they'll hire me onto a project, and I'm in charge of the entire camera, electrical, and grip and electric department. And so there's a lot of brands and a lot of people I've worked with, but pretty much I'm in charge of all the camera stuff that you see on TVs and movies.
You guys know the Jackass? Yeah. The Jackass? So that's what it's Jackass. I didn't know that.
Yep.
I hope so. Sometimes you never know with kids coming up. All right, so you work freelance right now, and that just means you pick up jobs as they come, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot of traveling. So right now I'm working full time for PlayStation. I do other video stuff. So it's still freelance work, but I get to travel a lot. I get to work with really cool people. And pretty much you get these jobs just by networking with people. For example, the person that brought me on the PlayStation jobs, I filmed all like the E3 stuff, if you guys saw that. He's a director of photography. He was Industrial Light and Magic, which is part of George Lucas's company. And he did like Raiders of the Lost Ark and all kinds of really cool movies, Saving Private Ryan. And pretty much I networked with him working on a job. He liked me, and he started bringing me on the PlayStation stuff. So I say that's like one of the cool things I'm working on now.
So, so what do you, I guess, some guys, their heart went a flutter when you mentioned PlayStation. So what exactly are you doing for them?
I do commercials, live stuff. I also do like game playthroughs from them. I know there's this game coming out called No Man's Sky that I just filmed a whole bunch of stuff for. Uh, that's a pretty cool game. And also, I wasn't allowed to say anything, but I think a month ago they released something. Or if not, I'm going to get sued, but I'll tell you guys anyways. Filming stuff for The Last of Us. I'm doing all the live capture stuff. So there's another one coming out. So that's a pretty big game. So.
All right, there's some guys on Twitter right now. Sorry, dude.
That's cool. No worries.
Okay. So what other? Are there anything that we would have seen, like a commercial, anything that you shot lately?
Yeah, sure. I shot. If you guys saw the last Grammys, I shot the MasterCard commercial. That was it was kind of like a live experience thing with like a party bus, and like we picked random people up and just took them on this huge party bus and around, and eventually led to a big concert. But it was like this whole thing. They got made over, and they got like $20,000 cash each, and it was just like, I don't know. The commercial was kind of silly, but it was cool.
So that was real, huh? They really got someone who did that?
They really got random people, yeah, which is kind of hilarious. And two of the people knew each other, and it was like completely random. So
I think it's a testament to I guess your work is. I think when I see that, it kind of looks so polished.
Yeah.
Like it may have been rigged, but no, it just seems like everything, especially the camera angles and all.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, it was, I mean, half the time we didn't even know what we were shooting. It was, I think we waited, like we literally stood on a street corner for probably 3 hours before the party bus showed up, and that was the last thing we filmed in the day. So it's funny how you like, you get to like a professional level, it's still, you're waiting on a street corner with like camera gear, like waiting for something to happen. But yeah, I mean, that was more of like a run and gun kind of, so there was a structure, but it wasn't like we were in a studio, everything was locked down. We eventually went to a studio, and if any of you guys watch Criminal Minds, we actually shot on the same stage, which was really cool. So you can go back and watch that.
Okay, so just to get some of the stuff, what other kind of exciting things have you worked on in the past year? I guess we talked to you about this time last year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm shooting something with the producers of The Hills in Laguna Beach, doing some pickups with some people from that show. I don't know if that's like too old of a show. I worked on Shark Tank a little bit, which is cool. If you guys watch Shark Tank, Lori Grenier, the blonde shark, she's one of my friends. I shoot all of her web stuff. If you guys know Kel Mitchell from like Good Burger and all that, that might be too old. I sound like an old guy. I worked with Skrillex, Avicii. Those are like EDM artists. And Friday I'm working with Beyonce, which will be hilarious. But I just last week I filmed the Honda Civic reveal of the new Honda Civic. And I work at Google and YouTube all the time. There's actually, YouTube has a space here in LA that you can go to, and there's a whole bunch of YouTubers. So, yeah, stuff like that. I'm trying to think what else. I work with Verizon and Google a lot. I filmed, if you guys, there's this huge Google keynote last year. I filmed that with all like the heads of major companies. But yeah, I guess I mean, there's a lot more, but I guess just off the top of my head, that's pretty much what I had written down. So I guess it wasn't on the top of my head, but last night it was.
I was going to tell the kids here that you're pretty prolific on Facebook about talking about what you're doing. I know.
Yeah. It might seem annoying to some, but it's funny. It's kind of how I book work. Like if people see that you make friends out here, you add them on Facebook or Instagram, social networks, and they kind of follow you. They see what you're up to. They see if you're busy. My friend just booked a Chipotle commercial from his Instagram account. So like it's kind of, it seems like a lot of the time we're bragging, but it's really just to stay relevant and let people know that, hey, we are working and this is what we're doing. And I don't usually post like, this is who I'm working with today. It's like, this is the project. I can't tell you how many NDAs I've signed that's a non-disclosure agreement. Like, that you can't say anything. Like there's stuff I can't even tell you guys about now, just because you literally you get taken to court if you even talk about it, or the people you worked with. But yeah, I would say those are the main things. Social networks pretty huge this day and age, like I'm sure you guys know, but almost for any job in the entertainment industry, social media is pretty big.
Okay, so what's if they wanted to follow you, if you guys wanted to see what John's up to see is what he's done in the past and what he's done in the future, on Facebook, what would they?
I'm sure you can tell you how to spell my last name, but just John Wilbers on Facebook, and then let me find out my Instagram handle because I'm lame. It's J Wilbers DOP for Director of Photography.
Hey John, this is Herrera. He's our tech facilitator here. He has a question.
I had a question for you, John.
Yeah.
Social media and career. Can you hear me?
A little bit, yeah. Maybe if you step just a tiny bit closer. Sorry.
Hey, you mentioned social media and kind of the importance of it in your career.
Yeah.
At Afton, we really don't block much. I know the kids will say we block everything, but we allow Twitter, we allow Instagram. Yes, no. Facebook, we did recently unblock, but relative to other school districts, we allow quite a bit. How important is it for them to start really looking to create kind of, in a sense, a portfolio of their work using social media and starting to clean up their social media image or be cautious of their social media image? How important is that?
I think it's, again, in this day and age where anybody can find anybody in 2 seconds and kind of find out what kind of person you are in 5 minutes. If it's if it's someone out there that's looking to employ you, like you have to think of your social media these days as your brand, as yourself. You display yourself, but also as your brand. Because everybody can, even if you have your stuff blocked, people can see that stuff. They can. There are ways. All you have to do is do a Google image search, and like stuff will pop up that you think is blocked. So I don't know. Like when I was in school, social media wasn't. I think we had Facebook like our freshman year, but nobody used those till like the MySpace days, which is hilarious. But like so back then it wasn't really important. I probably made a lot of dumb decisions back when I was in high school, but I made sure to go back and clean all of that stuff up, or the majority of what I can. But just think of it as a branding tool, no matter what you do. I mean, if you want to go and fix cars for a living, if you want to go and be a hairstylist, like whatever, like you need to think of it as a branding tool. It's not just for people in the entertainment industry. So that's pretty cool. You guys unblocked Facebook. I remember everything was blocked when I was in school. So that's really cool.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So, John, you got any recommendations for stuff, maybe some challenging stuff that you think kids that are just going through film or just maybe starting to be introduced to maybe a little higher level film than maybe what's normally aimed at them? Any suggestions for us?
Yeah, as far as like movies and TV and film?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would say like the easiest way to access like new cool stuff is obviously Netflix. A lot of Netflix original series are really cool. House of Cards is really cool. They shot that 6K, the latest is season 6K on the Red, which is a really cool camera that I use all the time. I would just honestly use Netflix. I mean, every month you get a new batch of movies, and they have really cool movies. I saw Moonrise Kingdom is on Netflix now, so you might want to check that out. That's Wes Anderson. There's a darker movie that I really like that might be too crazy right now, but Nightcrawler is really cool. It's Jake Gyllenhaal. That was really entertaining.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so yeah, sorry.
Are you gonna start following that career?
Nope. No, not that career. Yeah. That's actually, it's funny though. They filmed that like the entire movie like in Van Nuys, which is like 5 minutes down the street from me. So it's like when he was driving around everywhere, he was just going in huge circles. It was like, I can't watch any, like movies are ruined for me living out here. So it's just like, you notice everything. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Like where he lives, it's a one-way road and he's driving down the wrong way. But yeah, so I don't know. lots of cool movies. Like Netflix is it's a revolving door. I'm seeing stuff for the first time all the time just because Netflix now really has some really cool movies. So definitely go on there and maybe do like a search through ratings, like star ratings. Or I know Mr. Walker used to have like pictures on the wall of the top 100 movies. If you do a quick Google search of, the top 100 movies on IMDb and then see if they're on Netflix, that's what I would recommend. Definitely seeing the first 20 are super important.
Yeah, were you part of the class that made those?
No, they were there whenever I had my first class with you.
Yeah, we did those early, and then we replaced them in 2008 because they put them out every 10 years, right?
Right.
So I
Yeah.
guess you were maybe the semester after we made them.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Because I remember they were new, but I didn't see them. Like we didn't put them up.
right, yeah. So 2018 class, 2018, my daughter's class was making new ones. New ones.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. You got any questions for John? I mean, you can ask. He knows a lot of celebrities. That's typically what the class wants to know about. So, John, I don't know if anybody want to ask anything off the top here.
No worries.
Yeah, you can ask.
Did you like Mad Max?
Yeah, I loved it. I actually there's this YouTuber Freddie Wong. If you guys have seen any of his stuff, Freddie W. I got to. He was like in the front row from me, and I got like to watch it with him and his entire crew, and it was crazy. I saw it twice. Movie was really really cool, and yeah, George Miller and the DP, like everybody that was on on the top lines of that crew were all 70 years old or older. So go back and rewatch that movie and just think like literally 70-year-olds made that movie, and it's still probably like one of the best action movies that holds up in the last 10 years. It's really cool, really inspiring, and it's an awesome movie.
Yeah, I gotta say, it probably was my favorite movie this past year so far.
Mine too.
It's supposed to come out here in the next couple of months. But,
Right.
That seemed pretty awesome. And the new, I guess that new Terrence Malick film, I forgot what it's called.
Oh yeah, I know yeah.
Or is it Terrence Malick or is it?
No, yeah, I think it's Terrence Malick. I remember reading on the Hollywood Reporter that he was coming out with something.
Yeah, I think it might be Alfonso Cuarón. But it has DiCaprio in it.
Oh yeah, okay. No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I met Emmanuel Lubensky, and we talked about it for like a half an hour. Yeah, can't remember what it's called.
Lubensky is.
Huh?
Tell them who Lubensky is.
Lubensky's probably the best DP, one of the best DPs out there right now. He did Children of Men. I don't know. You just have to look him up.
Yeah, tell them what a DP is. I don't know if you.
Yeah, no. So there's all kinds of different departments when you make a movie, TV commercial, TV series, whatever. So a DP is director of photography. So I'm brought on, and then I'm in charge of the entire camera department, lighting, and grip department. So grip's like someone who sets up life. A gaffer is a person who's in charge of the grip. So I'm in charge of everything. So a director will come in and be like, okay, it's a period piece. It's like 1800s Western. And they'll be like, this is my vision. Now make it come to life. So I have to figure out what camera I'm going to use, what lenses I'm going to use, what crew I'm going to hire. So it's a pretty massive job when you break it down, just because we're in charge of so much. But a lot of times I camera operate, so I'll operate the camera on a lot of stuff. So a lot of the jobs I mentioned, I was just a camera operator, and I work closely with the DP then. But yeah, I do both. I would say it's a 50-50, like equal trade.
All right, so yeah, Lubensky is, if you've seen Birdman.
Yeah, Birdman.
Children of Men.
Children of Men. I think City of God.
Oh, City of God. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's God. But
No, yeah, that's.
I saw Birdman in Children of Men. Yeah, he's pretty darn amazing. And
yeah,
yeah,
he's insane.
Mad Max was. Yeah, I remember getting out of the theater like, oh, I need to talk to John about this movie. I bet he would.
Yeah.
Just the look of it is amazing. And the
Yeah.
fact so much of it is practical and having to shoot.
It's insane. My friends, one of my best friends, Drew, out here in Los Angeles, he's best friends with Josh Hellman, who's in the X-Men movies, but was also in Mad Max. He was like the older brother to the kid that turned good, that helped Tom Hardy. And we got a ton of inside stories from that movie. It was really cool, really hot, really dusty, really windy, but a ton of fun. And they shot it pretty much all in order. So there's nothing really that they went back and filmed. So it's like, it's one of the first movies in a long time to shoot everything in chronological order. And all the nighttime stuff was actually shot during the day. So they never shot during the night in that movie, which is kind of cool too. So
the way of playing around with lighting, I guess filters.
Yeah, filters and all kinds of, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I guess they had to shoot it chronologically because they kept when they would wreck stuff, they couldn't go back.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's cool. And it's really easy to keep track that way too, you know, so I bet it was a lot less stressful. I'm sure it wasn't for the producer, but for at least the director, he can keep track of like, okay, what's happening now? Because a lot of times when we film movies, we film like completely out of order. Like we'll film the last scene first sometimes, and then like the very last thing we'll film is the first scene. So it's like, it's really weird, and it's pretty much, we only do that because of like scheduling concerns with actors, or we only will have this location on this day. So, or hey, we only have this house location and we have to shoot every single scene that takes place in this house, even if it's like years apart. So that's why it happens like that.
All right. So any questions that you want to ask? All right. Once you get up here, so you can see. Tell me your name.
I'm Eliana, and I was just wondering what you're doing with Beyonce on Friday.
Hey, I am actually shooting, there's this guy that wrote a book called Becoming Beyonce that I'm filming for him, and one of the things is a sit-down interview between the two of them, so that's what that'll be. So I haven't worked with her before. I've seen Jay-Z before, but I haven't worked with Beyonce before, but yeah, it should be cool. It should be really fun. So under a lot of pressure, just because it's a very small crew and I got to make them look amazing. Sometimes shooting these bigger people are really scary jobs. Like I did all the 24 promos for the show 24 with Kiefer Sutherland, the new season that came out like a year ago. And in a contract that you'll get, you literally have to light these people a certain way. A lot of actresses have in their contract that they have to be standing behind a window at all times, or they need a chin light for everything they do, even if it doesn't make sense. And like, you'll go back and watch movies and you just like keep an eye out for some of that stuff. It's hilarious. So with this, it's the guy that wrote the book just had A&E over at his house shooting a documentary, and he like hated the way he looked. So they hired me to come in because they liked my work. And so I'm under a ton of pressure right now. I'm like seriously battling with like CNN, A&E, like all these huge networks to make him look as good as possible in his own house. So kind of stressed, but it's me and another guy. They're going to do everything. So pretty excited for it, but also at the same time nervous. And I only have to travel 25 minutes, which is nice. So that's a good thing about living in Burbank.
I know you've been doing this for a while now. Is it still exciting when you get to shoot a big name like Beyonce to be right there in front of her behind the camera?
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool, and it's cool just how you find out real quick like who's normal and who's crazy. I have a lot of crazy stories, but yeah, like a lot of people are like, a lot of I guess celebrities are just like CEOs, or they're really down to earth when the camera's not on. Like the guy, one of my PlayStation jobs, he had this man just died, but he was the CEO of Nintendo, and he had made Mario. He had created all these like legendary games, and he was the coolest guy ever off of camera. And on camera, he's super cool and super nice, but you wouldn't expect him to be so cool. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool celebrities out here. When I first moved out here, I think my 4th job was shooting a Trace Cyrus music video, and we're at his house, and I didn't know who Trace Cyrus was at the time. It was just like a friend that was helping produce this thing. And it was like super low budget. Like I had like a DSLR, and I show up, and like an hour later, Miley Cyrus shows up, and then all of a sudden her dad shows up, and I'm like, what? And this is like my first month out in LA, and this is before Miley went crazy. But she, yeah, it was really cool. Like they were super down to earth and normal, and it was her brother. And I don't know, there's a lot of really cool celebrities out there that are super nice.
All right, anybody else? All right, so John, I know that so you kind of talked about taking a risk. We talk a little bit more about kind of your decision to go out to Hollywood and kind of what you think has caused you to be so successful. Probably just a tiny bit of luck, but it was a lot of effort on your part. So what would you say are the qualities one needs to be successful, not only in Hollywood, but also, I guess, anywhere where you're having to take a big risk and put yourself out?
Yeah, I guess with your first question, what made me decide to move out here is that I always knew that I would end up here. I think I went on a vacation when I was 5 years old to Disneyland, and it like blew my mind. And I just loved California. I love the weather. I love the beach, all that stuff. So I think that was a huge factor for me, but also just knowing the entertainment industry was out here, and it still really is, that it was just a place for me. So I think I knew when I was like 7 years old that I was going to go to college. I was going to go to high school here, college in St. Louis, and then I was going to move out with, even if I had $5 in my pocket. But I think I had like it one time in high school. I think you actually called me out on it. I was like dead asleep in your class, and it was seriously because I was working like 7 jobs at a time. I remember like getting off of school and going to like 4 different jobs, and the next day would be 3 different jobs, and it was crazy. I worked at the zoo, like a million different things, but it was really just to save up money to move out to LA. I just wanted to do everything in my power possible to move out here. So a lot of hard work for sure, putting in the time, not having having a social life for sure. I had a great time in Afton, but just working a lot just to save up your money to do what you want to be able to do. Because I'll tell you what, I think I moved out to LA with $5,000, and it was gone seriously within 6 months, and I didn't even spend it on crazy stuff. It was just with rent and bills and how expensive everything is these days. But I guess, what was your second question? Sorry, it was.
Yeah. So what kind of? I remember you as a student, so I know you had a special. I don't want to say skill set, but you had a drive that stuck out. So what kind of? I guess I know it takes a little bit of luck, certainly. That Craigslist
That's right.
Certainly help. But what else would you say that someone needs if they wanted to take the journey you took?
Yeah, no, definitely. Honestly, networking is huge, and not just networking with like just saying hi to somebody and shaking their hand, but people. I never thought in a million years that I would be, sitting here even on Skype just talking to Mr. Walker. But I guess that, like just being nice and being a hard worker, I guess I made an impression. I've been able to do this quite a few times, which is awesome. But I honestly think just being nice to people, talking to people, and just, just keeping in touch with people is huge. But just being nice to people, I can't tell you, you're right about a little bit of luck, but it's really when you network with people, even if if you meet somebody that's in the industry you want to go into, introducing yourself, being nice, adding them on a social network so they can keep up with you. That's really helpful these days. But really just, I don't know, just being yourself and being friendly. I mean, friendly gets you a long way. I can't tell you how many really cool jobs I got just being friendly to someone, and then 7 months later they call me for a project that's like crazy. And it was just because they're like, oh yeah, I met him at a party one night, or oh yeah, I met him at a I guess too young, but a bar one night, just like, yeah, he's a super cool guy. Yeah, okay, I remember he does that. I remember him saying that. Yeah, let's have him on. And it's just really cool ways like that. I know in St. Louis, like we had this ridiculous like YouTube show, and we actually got paychecks. We were in high school, we were getting paid from YouTube when like the original YouTubers started out, and it was like this ridiculous show. It's horrible. Like if you guys find it super embarrassing, but it's like just this crazy thing. And this guy, we just post our stuff on MySpace at the time, all the time. And this guy, we got a phone call one day, I think we were freshmen in high school, and it was this guy that had this local charter show, and he was like, hey, would you guys mind making 5-minute skits for me every Friday night? So during the week, I'd be working, 45 hours a week, going to school. And then at the same time, even if it was like 2 a.m, I would go over to my friend's house and we would make these ridiculous skits that every Friday night at midnight would end up on TV. And it was like, okay, maybe 3 people ever saw those on TV on charter, but it was still like the coolest thing in the world. And just having that deadline, that dedication. But again, I guess like social media actually was working back in whatever, like 2006, 2007. So, just being nice to people, putting your stuff out there, and just being relevant, I would say, are the biggest things. And just being a nice person. Like, again, being nice. People on sets, even big sets, people want to be around who they want to work with. It's not that this person's better than this person at their job. People would much rather say no to a person that's amazing at their job but terrible to work with, or like not as fun to work with a person, as opposed to a person that's just cool, fun, and does their job.
I would also say, being nice includes waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and talking to you here in high school.
It's okay, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Tell them about kind of how many hours do you put in a day and a week, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Some jobs, like I contract myself out a lot. I have different pricing and hour structures. For jobs that I produce in film, I would say like 8 hours is average, 6 to 8 hours. Some jobs are short, but on a film set or a commercial, you're looking at minimum 12, tops 24. So I've done jobs that are 24 hours before. I've done jobs, mainly they're good solid 12-hour days. So in my pricing structure, I only have up to 12 hours. And then everything after 12 hours is like overtime. So that means time and a half. So it just depends on what you do. Like if you don't want to go like into camera or lighting or anything, it's different. My fiance, she works for the Dr. Phil show, and she's paid hourly. So she's paid salary. She's actually on salary, sorry. So yeah, it's different all around. Like it's crazy different all around.
Okay, yeah, so I think one of the points is that you also kind of work pretty hard too, and you're continuously working. It's not like when you say you're your own boss and you kind of put together jobs and stuff, it's not like you pretty much keep yourself working steadily all the time, right?
Yeah, definitely. I would say I guess Thursday, that job with that Beyonce thing. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to New York for just 3 days, flying in and out, being super fast with that. But other than that, I have a lot of stuff in the works, but I guess I'm having the next 2 weeks, besides a little few jobs here and there, off. And I just hired an editor, so I have someone that edits all my stuff for me all the time because it was killing me. Literally filming everything and editing everything myself. So I guess I'm a jack of all trades, but so that's taken a lot of stress on my back. So I'll be in post-production. That means like editing and sound and coloring and all that stuff for a couple of projects right now.
Yeah, maybe it was last year or the year before. David Boyer was out there. You guys still hanging around?
Yeah, he's upstairs sleeping right now. Him and his girlfriend have a 2-story townhouse, and they're in so we live with another couple, just because rent is crazy expensive out here. And it's just cool to live with one of your friends from back home. So yeah, he's still out here. He's joining SAG really soon, and he's going to go into stunts. So he's going to do all the crazy stuff. Right now, he just sets himself on fire all the time and loves it. So he's just constantly on fire.
You guys know David Boyer? Yeah. He was a classmate of yours, and he went out there maybe about 6 months to a year after you did.
Yeah, he came right out. Who I moved in with was perfect, professional stuntman. So I was like, you got to get out here.
Did he do any work on Straight Outta Compton?
Yeah, both. I was gonna work on it, and then he did background work on it. So that was cool. That was really cool. I know a lot of the crew that worked on the movie. If you guys haven't seen that movie, check that movie out. It's so good. And they're working on another one right now with Snoop Dogg and Tupac. So there's gonna be a sequel. But yeah,
Yeah, quite.
yeah. So
Cool.
yeah.
I think we're ready to call an end to this period. We'll be back probably in about 10 minutes, John. You can do it all again.
Cool.
Appreciate
Yeah. Sounds good.
I wanted to say, you already kind of mentioned it once. Congratulations on getting engaged.
Hey man, thanks. Appreciate it.
You got engaged over the year. Was it in the summer?
It was 3.5 months ago, and I did Disneyland, the most typical thing ever. But it's our place.
About a year and a half, 2 years. Is that right?
Before that, how long were we together?
Yeah.
3 years.
Is she from out there?
No, Phoenix, Arizona. So we actually met on set. We were both PAs. I think I got paid $20 for 14 hours of work, and I think she got paid like $10. And crazy long day for something that never even came out. And yeah, just met on set. It's cool, and just stay in contact.
Not on the internet, right?
What's up?
The old-fashioned way, not on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. None of those. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, another big round of applause for John.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right.
Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
Real
Hey.
quick. We're supposed to see Sing in the Rain as a required film next week. You got anything you want to tell us about Sing in the Rain? You remember?
Yeah, that movie's awesome. That movie, that was probably one of my favorite movies we walked away from your class. Lots of really good actors, lots of slapstick humor mixed in with like a lot of like dance routines and stuff, and a lot of references. I mean, like a ton of references. Just check that movie out and you'll see the references, like even in stuff that's just coming out today in music videos or TV shows. It's really, really great movie, and those people are legends.
All right. Thanks, John.
Cool. Thanks. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.